It's time for Michigan's newest sports talk show, Mitten Madness.
And here he goes. Defense win championship.
Michigan sports talk from here in Battle Creek. The latest stories, the biggest games, all across the Mitten State.
That's not something to play with.
Streaming live and on demand on the 95.3 WBCK app. Here are your hosts, Jacob Harrison and Da'Jzon Hughes.
Good morning on this Saturday morning. Welcome back. It's another episode of Mitten Madness. Before I dive into everything all Michigan sports, going to give you an update, of course, on myself. I had an amazing time last weekend. You know, I was just enjoying some time off, you know, and enjoying the holiday weekend. I hope that you did as well. Of course, I saw plenty of fireworks and had time with friends and family. So I had a great Independence Day weekend, and I hope you did as well. Today, we're going to be diving into the business. Obviously, we're going to be talking the Tigers, but we're also going to be talking the All-Star weekend that's coming up for the MLB and some early 2025 MLB draft prospects, that the Tigers could be having their eye on, and, maybe some other teams that could affect the Tigers as well. We'll touch on the NBA Summer League and what that's going to look like for the Pistons that they get started. They got started with play last night and are going to be playing a couple more games over this next week. Before getting into our picks, I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here, and this weekend is going to be fun. Going out to Chicago, enjoying some Premier Lacrosse League, professional outdoor lacrosse league that's going to be in Chicago, playing at Northwestern on their field that runs right along Lake Michigan. It's going to be an amazing office for the weekend. So maybe I'll have an experience to write about and share some pictures when I get back, but it is going to be a time. I also will be doing tons of driving this weekend because I also have to coach this weekend in St. Joe. So I'll be driving back and forth between Chicago and St. Joe. Lots of lacrosse this weekend, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Also, going to watch some sports, enjoy some time with a friend who lives out in Chicago that's going to go to the games with me. So it's always fun being able to link up with old friends. So this weekend should be fantastic. And also, I'm excited to get some Portillo's because, a dipped Italian IB, or a dipped IB, and you get me some crinkle cut fries with some cheese dip, we in there. I might even get myself a chocolate cake shake because I'm feeling like that. But it's time to pivot. It's time for us to talk what we really came here to talk about. An hour long of Michigan sports. And you know where we're starting. We're starting with the best team in baseball. Yeah, I said it because they're still there. The Detroit Tigers are the best team in the MLB according to their record. We're going to do our normal record breakdown across the divisions. We're going to start in the NL this time. We're going to start in the West with those dreaded Dodgers, who are 56-38 at the top of that division. 5 games behind them, 51-43 are the San Francisco Giants, and 5.5 games back of the Dodgers are the Padres at 50-43. Jumping up to the NL East, the top of that division is now the Philadelphia Phillies at 54-39. 1.5 games behind them are the Mets at 53-41. The Marlins sit 11.5 games back of the Phillies at 42-50. Meanwhile, in the NL Central, the Cubs still remain atop that division, 55-38. 2 games behind the Cubs are the Milwaukee Brewers at 53-40. And the Cardinals 50-44, 5.5 games back of the Cubs. Let's jump up to the AL, starting with the East. The Toronto Blue Jays 54-39 at the top. 2 games behind them, 52-41, are the New York Yankees, and the Tampa Bay Rays 50-44, 4.5 games back of the Jays. Out in the West, the Houston Astros 55-38, the top of that division. The Mariners are 7 games behind them at 48-45. And the Rangers are 9.5 games back of the Astros, 46-48. And when you look at the AL Central, the Detroit Tigers are 59-35 atop of the division. Second place, and a distant second at that. This is the largest gap between first and second in the entire MLB for any division. 13 games back are the Kansas City Royals, 46 and 48. 13 and a half games back of the Tigers are the Twins at 45 and 48. 14 and a half games back are the Guardians at 43 and 48. And 27 and a half games back are the White Sox at 31 and 62. So taking a look at the AL Central, you got your bookends. The Detroit Tigers are far and away better than everyone else in the division at the moment, and their record shows it, their play shows it, their score differential shows it, and so much more. On the flip side, you have the Chicago White Sox, who are far and beyond worse than the rest of the division. Their record shows it. Their games back shows it. Their score differential shows it. Everything points to things need to be blown up and figured out in Chicago over at Guaranteed Rate Field. But you look at the middle of this division. The Royals, the Twins, the Guardians are separated by a game, half a game. That's insane. There is a game and a half gap between second and fourth in this division. It is stacked. Great baseball being played in this division. But then you go up and you look. The AL East, kind of the same thing. The Yankees and the Red Sox are 3 games apart in standings, and all of those teams have 50 wins, as well as the Tampa Bay Rays, who are sandwiched in between them with 50 wins as well. Another really good division in baseball is the West. You have the Dodgers at the top, 5 games back and 5.5 games back. So only a half game separates second and third in the NL West between the Giants and the Padres. And granted, there's a little bit of a gap here, but 10 games back from the top, which only puts you 4.5 games back from third place with 46 wins. The Diamondbacks could definitely make a push to be in a situation to grab a wild card spot possibly. But then you look all the way at the bottom. The Rockies, they're 21 and 72, 34.5 games back from the Dodgers, and their score differential at negative 251 has probably never been seen before, and it's honestly astronomical, but it's right there. Proof is in the pudding. And now leading the second in the MLB in score differential are the Detroit Tigers. Leading that category, the Chicago Cubs at a plus 124. The Tigers are now plus 108 in the run differential category. They're 468 runs scored while only giving up 360 overall. The Detroit Tigers are 3 games ahead of the Dodgers to be the best team in baseball, 3.5 games ahead of the Cubs and Astros, and 4.5 games ahead of the Blue Jays and Phillies. That rounds out the top 5 for the MLB standings. Looking at what the Tigers have coming up for the week, All-Star Weekend is right around the corner, which we're going to dive into in the next segment. They are coming off some success. Let's rewind it. Going into last week, they were coming off of losing the series to the Nationals 2-1. Granted, they had a postponed game and a doubleheader, which really throws a monkey wrench in things. But still, they had the series that they lost 2-1. And then they absolutely decimated the Guardians on the road to take control of not only that series, but just really the division. You know, that's a huge divisional win, especially when you split the earlier series 2-2. So now, you lost the earlier series 3-1. So you were already down 3-1. You come in and you win 3 games. You won the season series 4-3. You know that you could beat them in a 7-game series because you just did it. They won 2-1, 1-0, and 7-2. To me, it doesn't matter how many you win by. It's just the fact that you win. A win is a win is a win is a win is a win. And that's what the Detroit Tigers have been doing. They have been winning. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games. Why wouldn't I trust this team to win? Please tell me why I wouldn't trust this team to win. Exactly. You don't have a reason to tell me that. They just are now coming off of another series win where they take down the Tampa Bay Rays 5-1, 4-2, but they did lose the third game 7-3. But you know what? 2 wins to 1 is a series win, and that's what we were looking for. We're looking for series wins to compound on each other, and that is what the Detroit Tigers have done an amazing job of doing so far this year. Before we talk about what's coming up for the weekend, before they get into All-Star, we got to talk about team leaders. There's a switch up over at the batting average leader. Zach McKinstry now making his name known, as he's got a 286 to lead in the batting average. His OBP is 358 and the slugging percentage is 468. Riley Green's leading with 22 home runs. He's got a 2.79 ERA. He also has 72 runs batted in to lead the team in RBIs as well. I mean, I don't think we expected anything different, but looking at the pitching, it's one guy, all three. He's at the top. Tariq Skubal, 2.02 on the ERA. He's got 10 wins on the year, and he's got 148 strikeouts. It's looking like he's going to leak up, or it's looking like he's going to round up another Cy Young award for himself. Coming up this week, though, they got the Mariners before the All-Star break comes. Earlier this year, they were able to beat the Mariners in a series on the road out west, and now they're welcoming them in to Comerica Park this weekend. It started last night. Skubal took on Castillo. I mean, obviously, as you guys know, I record on Fridays, so I have no clue what happened in this, but with Skubal on the mound, I'm going to be pretty confident the Tigers were able to come out with a win. So I think the Tigers are going to be going into All-Star break with a series win, a possible sweep. They're going to be the first team to reach 60 wins in MLB. They've been the first team to reach every 10-win marker, which to me is significant. You're setting the pace for the entire league, and they still remain at the top of the MLB. On Saturday, Casey Mize will take on Kirby, and on Sunday, Gilbert will take on Flaherty before we head into the All-Star break. Speaking of All-Star, we're going to be talking Home Run Derby, All-Star, MLB Draft, and more coming up after the break because, you know, why not? I'm sure the Tigers are going to be in it. We got more Mitten Madness for you on 95.3 WBCK. Welcome back to Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK. We have more baseball to talk about as well. It's time for MLB All-Star. The All-Star game is coming up over the next week. I'm going to see what I can drum up here to talk about. Here we go. 2025 All-Star game. The American League, the starters. First, I mean, obviously we're going to talk about the starters from our team. Javier Baez going to be an outfielder. Riley Green going to be an outfielder. And then we also have Gleyber Torres at second base. The rest of the American League starters, Cal Raleigh out of the Mariners, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. from the Blue Jays, Jose Ramirez from the Guardians, Jacob Wilson from the Athletics, Aaron Judge from the Yankees, and Ryan O'Hearn from the Orioles. Over on the other side, Will Smith from the Dodgers, Freddie Freeman from the Dodgers, Ketel Marte from the Diamondbacks, Manny Machado from the Padres, Francisco Lindor from the Mets, Ronald Acuna Jr. from the Braves, Pete Crow Armstrong from the Cubs, Kyle Tucker from the Cubs, and Shohei Ohtani from the Dodgers. Full rosters were just announced on the 6th. On the 11th, so last night was the HBCU Swingman Classic. That was 8 p.m. on the MLB Network. The MLB Draft is on Sunday the 13th, 6 p.m. on ESPN and MLB Network. The MLB All-Star Celebrity Softball Game is at 1 p.m. on the 14th on MLB Network. And then the Home Run Derby, which is always fun to watch, is going to be 8 p.m. on ESPN on Monday the 14th. The All-Star Red Carpet Show is 2 p.m. on the MLB Network on Tuesday, July 15th. And the MLB All-Star Game is Tuesday, July 15th at 7 p.m. on Fox. I'm surprised they didn't give us the pitching rotations for who's expected to be in the All-Star Game. I will do my best to track down the rosters and see who is going to be pitching in the game. But first, I guess we can talk about the MLB drafts before we circle back around to what is going to be, I'm sure, an exciting All-Star weekend over the next couple of days. The Nationals are expected to take Kane Anderson, a left-handed pitcher out of LSU. Another left-handed pitcher out of Tennessee. Liam Doyle expected to go second to the Los Angeles Angels, even though he's ranked the 6th best player available. Seth Hernandez, a right-handed pitcher out of Corona High School, expected to go third to the Mariners. He's the 4th ranked player. Ethan Holiday, a third baseman out of Stillwater High School in Oklahoma, is expected to go to the Rockies. He's the 2nd best player available. St. Louis Cardinals are expected to take Eli Willits, a shortstop from Fort Cobb Broxton High School in Oklahoma. He's the 3rd best player. Avia Arquette, the shortstop from Oregon State, expected to go 6th to the Pittsburgh Pirates. JoJo Parker, shortstop from Purvis High School in Mississippi, is expected to go 7th to the Marlins, which is right on cue with his rank. The Toronto Blue Jays are expected to take Jamie Arnold, a left-handed pitcher out of Florida State. The Cincinnati Reds are expected to take Ike Irish, a right fielder from Auburn. And the Chicago White Sox are expected to take Billy Carson, a shortstop from Corona High School in California, at the 10th pick. I'm going to circle down and see when our Tigers pick 24th in the 2025 MLB draft, and they're expected to take shortstop Daniel Pierce from Mill Creek High School in Georgia with the 19th pick. They say that it could be a surprise pick with Coy James, but there's also a chance that Coy James gets taken, so Daniel Pierce would also be a great option to fill that shortstop position and provide a little more depth to the infield for the Tigers. I'm going to see if there is the 2nd pick for the Tigers is Coy James, another shortstop, Davie County High School in North Carolina. That's the 34th pick, but a lot could go on here. Dax Kilby, Cooper Fleming, Anthony Eisen, and J.B. Middleton are all mentioned in earlier picks, but could be still available for the Tigers here. Jake Monroe, Caleb Lays, Jaden Lowry, and Ethan Rogers are listed at later picks, but could be scooped up for the Tigers at 34 as well. Doing some quick scanning here. I believe that is the last pick the Tigers will have, but I mean, those are great prospects. And when you look at what the Tigers are struggling with right now, depth is really the only thing you could say. That's the one thing Tigers can get better at, is having more depth and being able to, have that next guy up mentality and have a rotation of guys at pretty much every position that are going to be successful. I'm trying to track down these all-star rosters so I can see who's going to be on the mound for these games. Tracking it down here. Okay, here we go. The NL reserves, you got Hunter Goodman from the Rockies, Pete Alonso from the Mets, Matt Olson from the Braves, Brendan Donovan for the Cardinals, Ellie De La Cruz for the Reds, Eugenio Suarez for the Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll from the Diamondbacks, Kyle Stowers from the Marlins, Fernando Tatis Jr. from the Padres, James Wood from the Nationals, and Kyle Schwarber from the Phillies. The pitchers for the NL, Jason Adam from the Padres, Matthew Boyd from the Cubs, Edwin Diaz from the Mets, Mackenzie Gore from the Nationals, Clayton Kershaw from the Dodgers, Freddie Peralta from the Brewers, Robbie Ray from the Giants, Randy Rodriguez from the Giants, Chris Sale from the Braves, Paul Scaines from the Pirates, Logan Webb from the Giants, Zach Wheeler from the Phillies, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto from the Dodgers. The AL reserves, Alejandro Kirk from the Blue Jays, Jonathan Arenado from the Rays, Brandon Lowe from the Rays, Jeremy Pena from the Astros, Bobby Witt Jr. from the Royals, Alex Birdman from the Red Sox, Chris Chisholm Jr. from the Yankees, Byron Buxton from the Twins, Stephen Kwan from the Guardians, Julio Rodriguez from the Mariners, and Brett Rooker from the Athletics. AL pitchers include Hunter Brown from the Astros, Chris Bubik from the Royals, Aroldis Chapman from the Red Sox, Garrett Crochet from the Red Sox, Jacob deGrom from the Rangers, Max Fried from the Yankees, Josh Hader from the Astros, Yusei Kikuchi from the Angels, Andreas Munoz from the Mariners. Of course, none other than Tariq Skubal from the Detroit Tigers, Shane Smith from the White Sox, and Brian Wu from the Mariners. And checking in on our Tigers as it lets you know how many All-Star games they have been to. This is the third for Gleyber Torres, the second for Riley Green, the third for Javier Baez, and it's the second for Tariq Skubal. I'm going to see if I can find out who is competing in the All-Star competitions. So we're going to get MLB Home Run Derby lineup. See what we get for that. So the 2025 Home Run Derby lineup this year is going to be Ronald Acuna Jr. Well, okay. First off, it's going to be on Monday, 8 p.m., and it's going to be at Truist Park in Atlanta. That's where they're going to be having the entire All-Star weekend. Ronald Acuna Jr. from the Braves, Cal Raleigh from the Mariners, James Wood from the Nationals, Byron Buxton from the Twins, O'Neal Cruz from the Pirates, Junior Caminero from the Rays, Brent Rooker from the Athletics, and Jazz Chisholm Jr. from the Yankees make up your Home Run Derby contestants. As always, it will be, a tournament style thing where you're going against a guy and then you're going to get in the semis or the conference finals, and then the two champions will play each other, and that will be the Home Run Derby winner. Not quite sure if they're going to continue the same trend they had last year with the money balls and the timer and everything, but we'll find out more details Monday night on ESPN when this thing streams at 8 p.m. for everyone to enjoy. Teoscar Hernandez will not be defending his throne, but he did take home the championship last year in 2024. And let's see who's playing in the Celebrity All-Star softball game as I'm wrapping that up right now. It'll be Saturday, July 12th, Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia, 8:30 p.m. It's going to be on MLB.TV or MLB.com. And the participants, Jermaine Dupri and Javi Lopez, are going to be managers. CeCe Sabathia, Terrell Owens, Jordan Childs, Jenny Finch, Natasha Watley, Quavo, Big Boy, Candy Burris, Mariah the Scientist, Ronnie DeVoe, Prince Royce, Eladio Carrion, Young Miko, Mike Towers, Winston, Jerry Lorenzo, Funny Marco, Drewski, Nikki Cass, Maria Taylor, Ellie Duncan, Jake Storial, and Capital One Bank Guy. Yeah, the one from the commercials, are going to make up your Celebrity All-Star softball rosters, which that game is always fun to see because it's a bunch of people going out having fun playing a sport that they don't play often. All-Star Weekend is going to be fun. We have 4 Tigers to watch and enjoy and cheer on and hope that the American League is able to win another All-Star game. But, I mean, hey, it's that time of the year where there isn't a ton to talk about, and baseball is at the top of our minds. I'm just excited that the Tigers are leading the MLB and are going to be the first team to 60 wins. So when we come back, we're going to be talking about the NBA Summer League and what that means for the Pistons with more Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK.
Detroit sports fans, Wolverines and Spartans alike, this is your sports show, Mitten Madness, with Jacob Harrison and Da'Jzon Hughes on 95.3 WBCK.
Welcome back into Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK. The NBA Summer League has tipped off, and, well, it did so with exciting fashion this weekend. We got to see a blockbuster matchup basically right away. The Mavericks and Lakers played each other, and obviously all eyes were on the number 1 overall pick, Cooper Flagg, but also they were all over Bronny James, who was on the other side. They went neck and neck, toe-to-toe all night, trading buckets, and the Mavericks ended up winning 87-85. One of the best summer league games I think we have ever seen. But, I mean, some other scores from opening night, the Timberwolves 98-91 over the Pelicans. The Pacers 116-115 over the Cavaliers. The Thunder 90-81 over the Nets. The Kings 84-81 over the Magic. The Bucks 90-89 over the Nuggets. And the Spurs 111-70 over the 76ers. The Pistons got their start on Friday night against the New York Knicks. Obviously, I don't know how that fared out. Maybe you got a chance to watch it on NBA TV or ESPN Plus, and but the Pistons kind of have a favorable schedule this year for the Summer League. I think that there can be some success there, which I'm going to try and track down their Summer League roster after we run through their schedule and the games that they're expected to play over the Summer League time. They're going to play again on tomorrow at 4 p.m. on ESPN2. They'll be taking on the Houston Rockets at 4 p.m. They'll play again on Tuesday, July 15th, 4:30 p.m. on NBA TV and ESPN Plus against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They will play July 17th, which is Thursday, the Detroit against the Miami Heat, 4 p.m. on NBA TV and ESPN Plus. And then that's when the consolation and championship brackets begin on July 18th. Then the 19th, the semifinals are 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. on ESPN. The championship game is July 20th, 10 p.m. on ESPN. So now that we have made it through that, I'm going to try and track down their Summer League roster, which may be easier than I think. Let's see what we got here. I was able to find it pretty fast. Here is the Detroit Pistons 2025 Las Vegas Summer League roster. TJ Bickerstaff, Garrison Brooks, Sincere Carey, Dawson Garcia, Ron Holland, Dennis Jenkins, Trevor Keels, Bobby Klintman, Miller Kopp, Chaz Lanier, TJ Madlock, Tolu Smith, John Ukumadu, Bryce Williams, and Zakai Ziegler. Interesting lineup we have here. Chaz Lanier and Zakai Ziegler, very familiar with each other as they are former Tennessee teammates. And then you have Ron Holland, Bobby Klintman, Tolu Smith, who are all, and Dennis Jenkins, who have all played for the Pistons in this most recent season. So they have experience playing with each other, and they know each other quite well. You got a guy coming out of Alabama State and TJ Madlock, and I'll tell you, the HBCU teams that are playing in those low-level, mid-major Division I conferences are gritty. They know that they have one, maybe two shots, and they got to make it stick. So that guy's going to be coming in looking to make waves all over the Summer League, all over the team, and maybe nab a spot with the Pistons, or at least one of their affiliates to get a spot over, in the Pistons at some point. We got a guy coming over from the Phoenix Hagen, the Iowa Wolves, the Motor City Cruise, which are all G League teams, and then Nebraska with Bryce Williams, another Big Ten prospect coming out and playing in what has been an extremely tough conference to play in recent years, along with Dawson Garcia, who's a forward out of Minnesota as well. So there's a lot of potential here with this roster and young guys looking to make the Pistons roster. But realistically, we have no clue what's going to be happening. All we know is that you're getting to see a lot of the recent draft stock get to play. I mean, for Pistons fans, we haven't seen Bobby Klintman play at all. So getting a chance to see him in a Summer League will tell us if it was a good decision to draft him, if it was a good decision to keep him, and if he's going to be able to be slotted into the rotation at any time. He's an amazing, on paper, slot 4. I mean, number 37 overall draft pick, so it's a second-round pick. So it's not huge expectations, but when you look at his metrics as a player, which I'm going to pull up here, but when you look at his size, I mean, 6'9" height, 22 years old, So he's got the capability to grow. He can shoot it from the outside. I mean, 60% on the year last year and 40% from three when he did play, which it wasn't a lot. He only played in 8 games. He averaged 1.9 points, had 1 rebound, and 1 assist and 0.2 steals. But, I mean, dude, that is insane when, you think about being 6'9", 225 pounds and playing, the small forward / power forward role, being able to stretch the floor as someone who can shoot 60, 40, 50 splits. Like, I know tons of players in the NBA who can't shoot 60, 40, 50 splits that aren't 6'9", 225 pounds. You can't tell me that Bobby Klintman wouldn't be a help to this team. But then again, we haven't seen him play on the floor a ton, so we're not 100% sure. On paper, he looks like he's nothing. I mean, nothing but helpful to this team. Nothing but helpful. He didn't make his debut until January 8th of 2025. He was a two-way player this year and was playing down in the G League as well with the Motor City Cruise. So it is a two-folded thing there, and it's not like he just didn't play because he's not good enough. They do like to develop their players when it comes to the Detroit Pistons. Sometimes you get thrown into the fire like Cade Cunningham did, and you have to adjust on the fly and get that coaching at the NBA level. And other times you're allowed to go down to the G League and really get that coaching and really take time on your game and get better while that spot is waiting for you, because they are expecting you to come up and grab it. And I believe Bobby Klintman is one of those guys. Ron Holland, I think, will take a huge step up after playing last year. He looked well on the defensive end. I think his offensive game will take a step up after playing in the summer league. He's going to have more opportunities, and the game will kind of be slower to him now that he's played at the NBA speed and talent. I think he'll be able to have tons of success here in the G League. Really looking forward to see what Chaz Lanier is going to be able to do. I mean, he was our only pick this year in the draft, so I want to see, is he going to be somebody that we're going to be looking at years down the line waiting to come out of the G League, or is he somebody we're going to end up trading because we don't have any real value in, or is he someone who's going to make a difference? I mean, obviously things have opened up for him. Duncan Robinson and Karis LeVert coming in sort of closed that door, but they did lose Tim Hardaway and Malik Beasley, so they don't quite have what the Pistons thought they were going to have coming into the year. So there is an opportunity for Chaz Lanier to slide himself into the lineup, but I mean, it depends on how good Jaden Ivey looks when he comes out of the draft. What are Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson doing? And I would imagine they're going to be in the lineup after, the amount of money that they're being given. You still have Marcus Sasser on this team. Obviously, Cade Cunningham is still on this team. They did lose Dennis Schroeder as well. So there's some moving pieces with this Pistons team, but also a lot of questions and a lot of opportunities for these young guys to come up and take hold. The thing I like is there are tons of guards on this list. So obviously they're looking to fill that guard position, but the forwards that they have are a good mix. You have big bruising forwards like Bickerstaff, Holland, and Ukumadu, but you also have Klintman and Kopp on this list who are going to be more, and Garcia, who are going to be more of stretch forwards to help, stretch the floor out and make it easier on your offense. That's a little summer league talk and Pistons talk. But now it's time for us to get into our picks. Talk about how I did last week. I made a little mess up, but it's A-OK. When we come back with more Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK.
This is 95.3 WBCK.
Welcome back to Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK. It is time for the picks, and last week I had an okay week, but I did make a little mistake. So, as I've done plenty of times before, I did not take a look at the UFC Fight Night date, and it is coming up tonight as you're listening to this. So those will be added to this week's picks so that we are still on the right amount of picks. So there will be 2 extra picks being factored in this week. But I did go 2-2 in the picks that did follow through from last week. So that's bumped me up to 31-15, remaining 16 games above 500. It is a comfortable sweet spot to be. But yes, I did make the awful mistake of forgetting that to check the date of those UFC games. But I did pick up a win from the Dream over the Valkyrie, and I picked up a series win from the Tigers over the Rays. But the Phillies did lose to the Giants in a series, and then the Liberty lost to the Storm last weekend. So that put me behind the 8 ball, but not too far because it is a 2-2 even week technically from last week. We'll have those 2 picks carry on, but now it's time to dive into this weekend. Well, with MLB All-Star Weekend coming up, I didn't like the idea of picking series or a series where the first game of the series was Friday before I had the knowledge technically, but then you guys already have the knowledge of one game. So it's a really weird scenario. So I decided not to do that at all. And I decided to go with WNBA games, because that's where all of the excitement is right now. Their season is starting to get to the best parts of it. Once you get into August, things really start to ramp up as they get prepared for their playoff runs, and teams start to figure out their seeding, etc. So July is always fun, as well as teams find that sweet spot for themselves. Their All-Star game is also coming up pretty soon. So the first game is the Golden State Valkyries traveling to take on the Las Vegas Aces. The Valkyries are 10-9 on the year. They're 3-6 on the road. This game is later today, 4 p.m. on CBS. The Vegas Aces are 9-11. They're 5-4 at home. ESPN's giving them a 72.9% chance to win this game at Michelob Ultra Arena, which is the game's 1 p.m. their time. Only a 27.1% chance for the Valkyries to come out on top. There are no injured players for the Valkyries, although A'ja Wilson is a game time decision. The Aces are 2-3 in their last 5. The Valkyries are 3-2 in their last 5, but trends are trends. I don't think A'ja Wilson will sit out of this game. I think she does play. And I think that the home record and the away record are huge here. I'm leaning toward the Aces mostly because I'm biased to A'ja Wilson, who is the best player in the WNBA, but I digress. The Valkyries did win the first game 95-68 back on June 7th, but that was over in San Francisco, which makes a world of a difference for both of these teams. Because when you think about it, the Valkyries are a whopping 7-3 at home. So they like to play in San Francisco, and it makes a big difference in their games. They're not playing this game in San Francisco, which means I'm going to lead toward the home team, which is the Las Vegas Aces, to grab a dub. Our next game is going down on Sunday, the 13th, 3 p.m. at the Barclays Center. The New York Liberty, who are 8-2 at home and 13-6 on the year, are taking on the Atlanta Dream, who are 12-7 on the year and 4-4 on the road. The problem is the New York Liberty have Natasha Cloud out as a game time decision. Isabel Harrison is out as a game time decision. Jonquel Jones is out until July 22nd at the earliest, and Anika Saltau is not going to play the entire year. The Liberty are 4-6 in their last 10, while the Dream are 6-4 in their last 10. The Dream are 2-3, as are the Liberty in their last 5. They have already split the first 2 games of this series, with the Liberty taking the first on June 17th, 86-81, and the Dream taking the second on June 29th, 90-81. The series goes back to the Barclays Center in New York. And as much as I want to choose the Liberty, the injuries scare me, and also just the consistency of the Dream this year. They're having a phenomenal season. They've consistently been about a game behind in the conference for the standings behind New York, and they know that they kind of have to beat New York in order to get that jump. So this is a great opportunity for them to steal a game, and I think they're going to be able to do it. I'm more so leaning on the fact that there are no injured players for the Dream, while there are some injury concerns for the for the Liberty. Give me the Dream to win another game, even though they only have a 30.4% chance to win this game in comparison to 69.6% for the Liberty in the ESPN matchup predictor. We're going to head out west. We're going to San Francisco on Monday the 14th. This game will be streamed on Merc Plus. It's at the Chase Center, 10 p.m. A 53.3% chance for giving the Phoenix Mercury a chance to go into the Chase Center and beat the Golden State Valkyries on the road. The Mercury are 14-6 on the year. They're 5-3 on the road. Meanwhile, the home team, who is 7-3 at home, 10-9 on the year, has a 46.7% chance to win this game. Lexi Held, Saitua Sabali, and Kaylee Copper are all game-time decisions for July 14th. So if those three don't play, there's no way the Phoenix Mercury are winning. And even if they do play, there's no guarantee that they're going to be 100%. And it's interesting because their play, even not at 100%, could be the reason why Phoenix does win this game, but it also could be the reason why the Mercury don't win this game. This is going to be an interesting matchup as Phoenix is 8-2 in their last 10. The Valkyrie are 6-4. They're both 3-2 in their last 5. Mercury did grab the first win in this series back on June 5th, 86-77. Phoenix second in the Western Conference, while Golden State is fourth. And to be fourth in their first year, it looks like they may be making the playoffs unless the Las Vegas Aces make some moves over the latter half of the season. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. But like I said, I like trends. And 7-3 at home screams we are comfortable in this building. Screams we like to play in this building. Screams we win games when we're in this building. They're playing in the Chase Center where they like to play, where they're comfortable, where they win games, where their fans are showing out for them. And you think I'm going against the Golden State Valkyries? You are insane. I'm going to pick the Valkyries to win a home game again and improve that record to 8-3 at home. And maybe the Mercury come in and steal one, which I wouldn't be surprised by, but I'm not banking on it. We're going to talk about the Valkyries again. This game is on the 16th, 3 p.m. at Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, who the Storm are 12-8 and 6-3 at home. As we know, the Valkyries are 3-6 on the road. Their record may look completely different by the time this game rolls around, but what we do know is that Katie Lou Samuelson is out for the season for the Storm, and Lexi Brown is a game-time decision for the 11th, so we're not sure if she will be back anytime soon or not. They are both 3-2 in their last 5 and 6-4 in their last 10, but the Valkyries have had the Storm's number, but both of those games were home games at the Chase Center for the Valkyries. They won the first on June 14th, 76-70, and the second on June 29th, 84-57. So that's something that sparks a lot, but with this series going to Seattle, where they are comfortable and they play well, 6-3 on the year at home, I'm going to lean toward the Storm, although I wouldn't be surprised to see the Valkyries possibly be on a roll here and grab a second win in a row after winning their last game at home, like I predicted just a few moments ago. That's going to get us into another game with the Phoenix Mercury. As we know, this is also on the 16th at 1 p.m. on Merc Plus is where this will be streamed. The Target Center, as they will be taking on the Minnesota Lynx, who are a perfect 11-0 at home. They're 18-3 on the year, and they have been dominant as they are atop of the Western Conference, and I believe they have the best record in all of the WNBA. So far, they have been pretty much dominant in this series as well. They lead it 2-1. They were able to win the first game back on May 30th, 74-71. The second game on June 3rd, 88-65. And then they lost the third game on July 9th, 79-71. As the Mercury are going to be looking to tie up this series with this game being at the Target Center in Minnesota, and Minnesota having not lost at home before this, and their only concern is Carly Samuelson being out for the season. I'm going to take the Lynx to win yet another game at home because I would be a fool to think that they wouldn't. They're 4-1 in their last 5. They're 8-2 in their last 10 in comparison to 8-2 in the last 10 for Phoenix. But they're also just 3-2 in their last 5. 84.6 points per game for Phoenix to 84.8 for Minnesota. The difference is Minnesota's only given up 74.7 points per game in comparison to 79.5 for Phoenix. They both have 34 rebounds, 21 assists for Phoenix, 23.7 for Minnesota, 5.2 blocks for Minnesota, 3.8 for Phoenix, 8.8 steals for Phoenix, 7.8 for Minnesota. These two teams are almost identical on paper. Minnesota is just a tad bit better. So I'm going to take the Lynx to grab a victory there as well. In the last pick of the week, it's the Liberty. Again, at home, 7:30 p.m. on CBS Sports Network in the Barclays Center, taking on the Indiana Fever. They have a 74.7% chance to improve their home record against the Fever, while the Fever only have a 25.3% chance to escape with a victory. The Fever are 3-2 in their last 5. Liberty are 2-3 in their last 5. They're 4-6 in their last 10, while the Fever are 5-5. They're split 1-1 in the season series as of now. The Liberty won the first 90-88 on May 24th. And they played again on June 14th, where the Fever absolutely waxed them 102-88. This is another home game for the Liberty. And I like home games, especially when the trend is 8-2 for that team to win. So I'm going to take the Liberty to win at home as well. That's going to give me the Aces over the Valkyries, the Dream over the Liberty, the Valkyries over the Mercury, Lynx over the Mercury, Storm over the Valkyries, and Liberty over the Fever. I hope that you guys have an amazing weekend, because I'm definitely going to have a fun, sports-filled, amazing weekend. And we can compare our picks and talk more sports next week as we get you more Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK.
Join Jacob Harrison and Da'Jzon Hughes every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK. Miss the show or want to run it back? Stream Mitten Madness on demand on the WBCK app. Sponsored by airwaycashforjunkcars.com.